Hey guys, what's up? Today I feel like getting problematic. Today I'm making another tier list. I'm ranking this time the characters, the iconic characters of Gilmore Girls. I wanted to rewatch Gilmore Girls, but then I remember season 5 and 6 and 7 and how much I hated it, and I decided not to put myself through that pain. I've already made a video about my opinions about Gilmore Girls a few months ago. I don't really trust my opinion back then. I'm a changed woman now, so I decided to just rank the characters because why not? I made a ranking the Pretty Little Liar characters a long time ago, and I hit more than 2,000 views and 200 subscribers, and I just want to say thank you. I don't understand why, but thanks. So if you're gonna go and watch it, I'll appreciate it, and thanks again for the subscribers and for the views. I haven't been wearing lip gloss or like lipstick on my lips for literally since the pandemic started, and I have lip gloss right now and feel so weird. Ugh, okay, it's just a weird sensation. Ugh. Ugh. So let's explain the rankings. We have iconic, very self-explanatory. This is for the characters that I have little to no complaint. My favorite characters are in this category. Good for you. Those are the characters that are good. There's just a few things that I didn't like about them, but overall they're great characters. We were rooting for you. Those are the disappointments. Like I thought you were gonna be different. I don't like you. Very self-explanatory. Spain without the S. That one is made specifically for one character. You can probably guess which one. That's just for the characters that I just dislike to the point that I hate them. First off, we have Tristan. Okay. Fun fact, I used to think Tristan was actually called Logan, and Logan was actually called Tristan. You can see how little I care about those two characters. Tristan was only in season 1, and he was a douche. By the way he was interacting with Rory, I assume that they wanted them to date at some point. Obviously, Chad Murray got cast for One Tree Hill, so he left Gilmore Girls because of that, and we didn't get to really see a lot from him. But I just wonder what would have happened if we had, because he wasn't a bad character in my opinion. I feel like he would have been kind of like a Jess, like a problematic bad guy. So it just left me wondering what could have happened, you know? Yeah. Babette. You know, she was one of the few people that I actually liked from the town. She wasn't problematic, or at least not that I remember, but she was one of the few normal people in that town, to say the least. So, good for you. Max. In case you don't remember who Max was, he was Rory's English teacher at Chilton, and he was also engaged to Lorelai in season 1, 2-ish. Him at the beginning, he was a good guy. I was actually rooting for him. Max was a good guy, but he wasn't the guy for Lorelai. The reason why he's in We Were Rooting For You is because I really disliked the way he treated Rory after the engagement was off. Like, you have to treat your student the same way you are treating everyone's student. Like, you can't let your personal relationship with that student's mother affect. Do we all agree? Does anyone disagree? I mean, Jess is not perfect. Obviously, he has his flaws. He was really problematic when he first came into the show in season 2. I guess we can say that he was not a good influence and not the good guy. He wasn't supposed to be a good guy. He was your bad guy, I guess. He had the best character development in the series, and one of my favorite character development just from any show, in my opinion. Obviously, I want, Rory and Jess to be endgame, but at the end of the day, Jess was too good for Rory. Just too good. She did not deserve him at any point because she didn't believe in him. She didn't trust him. She let her own insecurities and her own expectations get in between the relationship. And this is not a hot take on the relationship, so I'm gonna just move on. But yeah. Ooh, I should do a ranking video about like about chips, like from like popular chips from TV shows. Let me know down below. Lane is a great character. She was a great friend, and I wish we had seen more from her, honestly. She's another one that I think was too good for Rory. Like, she was too good of a friend for Rory. I feel like in season 1, Rory was perfect. Why am I talking about Rory? She was just cool. She never did anything that kind of pissed me off. She was supportive of everything, and she was dealing with her own things. Ended up standing up for her mom, and I just love Lane, you know? She was, yes, I love her. I don't like Taylor. You know, I've never liked small towns. I'm pretty sure towns in real life are not like this town. Or like the mayors of like small towns, I'm pretty sure not like Taylor. But he made me dislike them even more. If I lived in a town like Stars Hollow, I would most likely be someone like Luke. I will say, as much as Taylor was extremely annoying, he did make the show interesting. Whatever he will say, whatever he will make the whole town do because of the town's history or whatever, the festivals, stupid they would be, you know, it was interesting to watch. So I don't like it, but like, you were entertaining. Sookie is also hands down one of the best characters from Gilmore Girls. The reason why she's not an iconic is because she was sometimes too annoying, in my opinion. Like, I don't think there's anything negative to say about her, and I wish I could taste her food, because the show really made it seem that she was an amazing chef. So who is that? So for some reason, I included the granny, I think that's Richard's mom. I don't know why I included her in this, but yeah, I don't like her. She was a bitch. Yeah. So Logan, I don't like Logan. He's your typical rich, privileged, white boy, and nothing else. He's spoiled. He doesn't have any, because I watched season 5, 6, and 7 only once, so I don't really remember many things from it. But I'm pretty sure like he didn't really have that many like big things. Like, he had no aspirations. He was just rich. He was boring. He didn't have any spice. He was just everything that he was just the stereotypical guys that I hate. I mean, I hate most guys, so just didn't bring anything good to the show. She became a spoiled brat ever since she dated him, and I was so glad that they didn't end up together. But hear me out. Lorelai is iconic. Watching the show, she was the only reason I stick around for season 5, 6, and 7, because there was no other reason for me to be watching those. For me, it's a very interesting and cool character that, you know, watching it, I was like, oh, I want to be like her when I'm on my 30s or 40s, you know? She seems so cool. I like her. She obviously has her flaws. You know what? Never mind. I'm gonna put her in good for you. I changed my mind. She's a single mom. She raised Rory by her own. A teen mom also, and she did the best she could with Rory. You know, she did her best job, and I think that's something admirable. She also, you know, she moved to another town. She was doing everything by her own, even though the town helped her raise Rory, which we'll talk about the whole implication later. I don't know if I said that in my video. I probably didn't, so I will say that when we get to Rory. But the thing with Lorelai, that like the thing that why I don't like her, it's like the only reason, because yeah, she's annoying and selfish and immature, but she made a mistake by when raising Rory. Didn't really had a close relationship with her mom. So obviously she didn't want what happened to her and Emily to happen to her and Rory. When raising Rory, she cared more about being Rory's friend than being Rory's mom, and that's obviously a problem because she doesn't exactly point out when Rory is doing something wrong, or when Rory needs her as a mom, she's not exactly there. She's there to, you know, take care of her and give her advice, but it's always like has a friend, you know. That's one of my problems. Like, for example, when Rory was in the love triangle, Rory needed to talk to someone and try to figure out what she was feeling at the time. So I wish couldn't really trust her mom into it because her mom was her friend, and I wish Lorelai could have talked to her and kind of guide her into, okay, what are you feeling, and tell her what she's doing is wrong. And she was also very judgmental because she was like, oh, Jess is bad, so you know you have to be with Dean, and she overlooked everything that Dean was doing that was really manipulative and abusive just because Jess was kind of like Christopher, you know. So yeah, she's iconic, but we're gonna leave her in good for you because she obviously had things to work on. Dave. The only reason I included Dave is because it's Adam Brody, okay? Leave me alone. I cannot exclude Seth Cohen out of here. He was Lane's love interest. I don't remember in which station, but he was her love interest, and I really liked him because he really cared for her. He knew the complicated relationship she has with her mom and about, you know, her Korean traditions, and he was supportive of that, you know. Obviously he didn't really like the fact that Lane and him couldn't be openly dating, but he, you know, he was there, he was hanging on as much as he could until at some point he obviously had to break because, you know, he was in a very difficult and not so great situation. So, but you know, he was great. I liked him. He's iconic because it's Adam Brody. Christopher. So, we were rooting for you, man. We really were. Or I was. Christopher is Rory's father. I really liked him, like his personality. The only thing I didn't like about him was, well, the fact that he left them. I mean, I don't remember exactly why they broke up, Lorelai and him, but he did, you know, he wasn't really involved in Rory's life until later on. So yeah, not exactly that of the year, may I say. You know, I feel like he still tried to be the best, you know, to try and be there for her, even though he wasn't there before. So I appreciate that. I don't know, I actually really liked him, so yeah. We were rooting for you, man. We really were. Michel, iconic. I don't know why. Michel was one of my favorite characters. He was just hilarious. Everything he would say, it was funny. The way he didn't give a shit, the way he was like so, you know, I don't know, I guess a stereotypical French. Contrast between him and Lorelai, it was just so funny to me. And I remember, I think at some point he met Emily, and oh my god, besties. I don't know, I really liked his interaction with everybody because he's so like couture, that's not the word that I'm looking for. He has high standards upside, I don't know. So his interaction with everybody else is just really funny to me. Okay, Dean was a great first boyfriend. Who didn't like Dean in season 1? Because if you didn't, why? There was no reason for you to not like him in season 1. They made him likable for that reason. But then season 2 comes along, and well, the first thing that I didn't like about him, the first red flag that I had was when they broke up. The first time they broke up was because he said I love you to Rory, and she didn't exactly say it back. I think she said thank you, or maybe I'm mistaken that for another show, but she didn't say it back. She said that she needed to think about it, and he eventually like broke up with her because of that, because it took her too long, or because whatever, I don't know. That was the first red flag for me. But whatever, they got back together because she said that she loved him. Anyway, But Jess comes along, and insecurities, trust issues, jealousy came to the chat as well. And that's where everything went wrong. He let his insecurities about Jess get into his head, and he stopped trusting Rory, and even, you know, he stopped being the charming person that he was in season 1. We could finally see his true colors behind the nice guy persona he had in season 1. And he was just awful in season 2. He treated Rory very bad, toxic, and borderline verbal abusive. They eventually broke up. I mean, she did shit on him, so that's also not good. The other thing I didn't like was that I feel like people don't really talk about. He was married in season 4 or 5, and he has an affair with Rory. I feel like everybody talk about the fact that, you know, Rory is such a homebreaker and a bad person. Ugh, I fucking hate Rory because of that. But I feel like people don't really give him the amount of heat that they give Rory when he is just as much or even more of a bad guy that she is, because he was the one who was married. All right, so yeah, she's a homebreaker, but he's the one who cheated. He's the one who was married. Seeing him, it physically pains me. So yeah, Spain without the S. I have nothing to say about him. He was just a cool guy, you know, a bit insecure at times, but he was overall cool, and I really liked his vibe, and great guy. She had her good times, her bad times, but she had her good times overall. I really liked the Lorelai Emily dynamic. It was really interesting to watch every single Friday night. It was just funny. I really liked it. I liked their little like confrontations. And, I mean, she wasn't a grown most of the time. She wasn't a good mom, but she was entertaining, and I liked her, and I could empathize with her in many situations. So yeah, as much as she is a bitch, I feel sorry for her, especially when she was having problems with Richard. We saw a different side of her in that season, and I felt bad for her. So yeah, Kirk is iconic. He was the man. That town would have been a mess without Kirk. He had more than 20 jobs. You needed a plumber, there's Kirk. You needed a firefighter, there's Kirk. You needed, I don't know, you needed anything, there's Kirk. Kirk is there for you to fix it, to do whatever you needed. People like Kirk, and without him, without the iconic character that he is, the town would have been a fucking mess. So yeah, we love Kirk in this household. Okay, so look, he needs to take a chill pill most of the time, because he's just too grumpy and a very negative energy that I'm like, just chilled. Maybe switch coffee for tea, because coffee is definitely not working for you. Obviously, he lived in a town that it's not exactly his cup of tea. I really liked his little moments with Taylor. Every time there was something happening in the town, or like Taylor would just come in and say something to Luke like, oh, you need to do this, whatever, because it's the town's pie anniversary, I don't know. And he would just lose it, because he had no patience for any shit like that. And he was honestly one of my favorite characters. Reason why he's not an iconic is because there were times he needs to learn how to control his anger sometimes. This might be an unpopular opinion, but personally, Luke and Lorelai, they're better off as friends than as boyfriend and girlfriend. At least they, you know, tasted those waters. I still prefer them as friends. You know, I don't think everybody needs to date. You know, there was a lot of sexual tensions between them, but I really liked that sexual tension when they were just friends. When they dated and then they broke up, like, it was rough. I also really like those moments that were like Lorelai and Luke wouldn't be, you know, in good terms, or Jess and Rory wouldn't be in good terms. So they have these little moments like at the dinner. Oh, Man, yeah. You know what? He's iconic. I changed my mind. I now I'm not really sure if this is Miss Patty or Babette, so I'm sorry if I messed them up, but like, I mean, they're both equally the same. Like, they were not problematic. Maybe they loved gossip. I do remember, I don't know which one. I think both of them liked gossip. So, Paris is iconic, and I'm not gonna hear any word saying that she was not iconic, because she was. She was mean. She was a mean girl, but you know, she had her goals. She was determined into what she wanted to do. She worked really hard for everything that she wanted to accomplish, and I'm here for that. You know, I don't exactly agree with her methods, and she was too, you know, she could take a chill pill once in a while. I really like the bond that Rory and her created over their time in Shelton. She was one of the best. Okay? Honestly, okay, so Richard, I just expected more from him. You know, whenever there was like a situation, like conflict between Emily and Lorelai, he wouldn't really, you know, intervene or try and solve the problem, or at least try and help. He would always be in the guidelines, and that always pissed me off. And I feel like he never exactly cared for his family. I feel like he cared more about his business and the money, other than, you know, Emily, Rory, Lorelai. And that always pissed me off. He was not exactly husband of the year or grandpa of the year, to say the least. So yeah, very disappointing. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. I'm really happy that we can all agree that Rory is not the best character. There was so much potential on her. I mean, she was everybody's favorite character in the beginning of the show. She was my favorite character in the beginning of the show, because she was someone I could relate to. She was someone easily to like, and I was rooting for her. You know, I was going through the same things. When I watched the show for the first time, I was 15, I think, when I watched it for the first time, or 16. As decisions went on, she became someone that I never expected her to become. She became self-absorbed, selfish, spoiled. She couldn't tell right from wrong, which I feel like if we analyze it, you know, she always had people telling her how good she is, and she never really had people criticizing her. The whole town, not just her mom, but the whole town sees her as, you know, their daughter. She was lost and continues to be lost and not know what to do. The reason why I don't like her is because of the person that she became, and how she basically victimized herself, and it's just something that pissed me off so much. And yeah, she's Spain without the S. It's so frustrating, because the season 1, season 2, and I'm like, yes, Rory, like, and then you watch what happens after, and it's just so frustrating. Especially when Jess and Rory, you know, Rory wanted to be with Jess, but the minute she's with Jess, she starts to compare him with Dean. I mean, he wasn't perfect, obviously. Jess had his problems. He was not perfect in the relationship, but she was expecting him to treat her just like Dean did. She was expecting him to do the same things that Dean did, which is you should never do, because Jess is not Dean and will never be Dean. So you're expecting him to treat you like Dean treated you is just stupid. The show really messed up with that one. So this is it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me ranking all of these characters. If you agree or disagree, let me know in the comment sections. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.